Okay, so what we're going to talk about today will be the history of eVape tanks and wicks and how far the tanks have come, how they have evolved, and how the science has evolved with the tanks, the dependability of them from generation to generation. And this one right here is our very first eVape tank that we've ever used. So if you had one of my systems back in, let's say 2013, this is most likely the wick and the eVape tank you got. They had the corky ways, bottom filled. Do not care for the bottom fill. Hard to get the drug out, can't make a mistake with it, especially when you're in the lab. Don't know how people smoked out of these things. I really don't know how, because so much of the drug would come up. So they had to taste on their lips exactly what they put in there. So you might as well drink it. So I'm not really sure, but in the lab, they worked. We have some research papers. I can't poo-poo on their performance because people have papers written using these. So they got data out of it. Hey, they got a paper. Somebody made money off of that paper because they got funded again for the paper. But if you go onto my website and you look up 2013 to 2015, maybe you'll see a paper in there with that date on it. It definitely had this tank. So you got to keep on going with it. But you can't buy them anymore. When China makes these tanks, they'll make 1 billion of them. And then when they run out, they go to a new model. We might have liked the old model because we have papers with the old model, no matter how cumbersome they are, no matter how torquey they are. When China decides that they don't want to make something any longer, it's discontinued, can't find that anymore, but it worked. Then it moved up to the Kangertech, the ProTech 3. This was their wick. It's a little bit better. Maybe you got about 100 hits off of it before it crapped out. All of these are bottom filled. Hate the bottom fill. Still work. People got papers out of them. But bottom fill, can't get it wrong, because you would have to almost take it apart or just understand that you have a dead wick with live juice. Whatever drug in the lab you happen to be using, if the wick wasn't good and you don't find out until it's too late, even if you put a new wick on, it might be not so good. You would have to test it first. Getting that drug out to re-wick it was always a big problem. Then we came up to the Smock TVF4 Mini. I really like this one. Everything got extremely more reliable. The more unreliable parts would be the bottom airflow. And when they have the bottom airflow, you have too much leakage. Now the problem with the leaks would be exactly what drug were you vaping in the lab? So if it's like some fentanyl and you had some leaks, that's a problem, as far as cleaning that up or changing your wick. Some of my clients use nicotine, methamphetamine. You don't want that leaking down into your mod. It destroys a whole lot of stuff. It's way too hard to clean, but one hell of a tank though. I really like it. If they made this one with a top airflow, I would get it. I would go back to it. It was one of my favorite ones. Definitely a top fill, but bottom airflow. So good, but not as safe as what I like, especially when you're using the more dangerous drugs. Still a good tank, but you can see the size of the wicks have changed greatly. A lot more cotton in this one than the other two. A lot more dependability, a lot more technology. Everything has gotten better. But my best friend here has been our Baby Beast brother. And it's basically a TV8 Baby Beast. It's the upgrade from the TV4. Top fill, top airflow. Can't get any better as far as being safe in the lab, depending on what it is you're using. What I really like about this one is that it doesn't leak, has nowhere for it to come out. So you have a very, very low chance of it leaking, and got to be one of the most dependable tanks. Now with these newer tank styles, you must let the drug and your VGPG soak in them for at least 10-15 minutes before you fire it off, because you can still get a dry hit. So this is One of the very first wicks, second generation wick, and now you get up to these sub-ohm wicks. With these smaller ones, the wattage were probably like 12 watts. The bigger ones, you can go as high as 90 watts. And as long as you never let the wick go dry, you will always have very, very good hits. So you got about 3 cannons in there. These things last quite a while, especially when you have gotten a good pack that's made with American standards. You can get a Chinese version, won't work as long, and the threading is really bad. So make sure that you always get the American standard versions of any of your wicks. But this thing will last a long time. These right here, this one, for the newer ones, good month and a half or so. But with both of these wicks, as long as you keep them moist, they'll never have a dry hit. So the dry hit is the thing that you always want to avoid. Never get a dry hit. And you'll know when you get a dry hit because you'll smell the burning of the cotton. So you don't want to do that. Now, one of our biggest questions and one of the problems we've been having is that not all research facilities will let you go out and buy wicks at your local vape store. So we've had to turn into our own vape shop, basically. So now from us, you'll be able to buy the tanks that we think would be best for your science. If there's a different one out there that you actually like, we got a wholesale license now. We can buy them for you. And we also have our own VG-PG that is 70-30. And so you get a whole kit from us. You get a rack to hold all of your tanks in, a 3-pack or altogether a 5-pack. We also have the quick disconnects so that you can get away from actually having the mouthpiece with just a tube shoved into it. I see that some of you guys have taken some contact cement and stuck that in there. That kind of scared the hell out of me. You have contact cement, you got rubber tubing, and you have heat, and you have propylene glycol, vegetable glycerol, and whatever drug going through all of that. And over time, we don't know what it is. So let's just do something a little bit safer. We have a piece that these pieces are transferable. They're easy to take off. They can go from one eVape tank to another, so it's always reusable. And we have a female quick disconnect that has a shut-off valve so that when it's not connected to the male, everything is airtight, easy to store, easy to click in. You'll have your tube going from the top of your male quick disconnect to your alcohol or eVape chamber, and then you can store it really safely because disconnected, everything is off, and then you shut the airflow and everything's pretty much safe. EH&S at Scripps Research Clinic has approved it. Whatever they approve, we'll buy that version because it's been approved by a professional group of people that's dedicated to health and safety, and then we'll offer that online. Our new website, got to talk about the website. So we love our new website. It's ljari.tech. Any questions you might have, you can give me a call at 619-279-7587 or just email me at Cole, C-O-L-E-M, at ljari.tech. Get a hold of us. We have what you need.